My dear friends, my brothers and sisters, time is not something you lose, it is something you invest. And the moment you truly understand this, your behavior changes, your excuses collapse, and your priorities expose themselves. My name is Muniba Mazari, and I'm a motivational speaker. If you're new to my channel, subscribe and start a new journey with me. When people say, I wasted years, what they really mean is, I didn't learn while time was teaching me. Time never takes anything away without offering a lesson in return. Every hour you spend distracted, angry, lazy, or afraid is not stolen from you. It's given to you, and you decide whether it becomes wisdom or regret. That realization alone should shake you awake. Think of time like money. You don't throw money into the air and blame the wind when it disappears. You invested carefully, knowing returns come later. Time works the same way. The hours you invest in discipline return as competence. The days you invest in learning return as clarity. The months you invest in patience return as strength. But if you spend time emotionally reacting to everything, comparing your journey to others, or waiting for motivation to magically arrive, then don't accuse time of being unfair. Time rewards intention, not complaints. Here's the hard truth. No one tells you. Time exposes priorities. If something truly matters to you, time will be found, not discovered, not created, found. You don't find time by wishing. You find it by removing what doesn't deserve it. Scrolling endlessly, postponing growth, repeating the same mistakes. These are expensive habits, and time sends the bill later with interest. Every small action is a time investment. 10 minutes daily beats hours of panic someday. One honest conversation today saves years of misunderstanding tomorrow. One decision to start, even imperfectly, saves you from the pain of what if. Time compounds silently. You don't see results immediately, and that's where most people quit. They withdraw their investment too early and then say it didn't work. Listen carefully. Time is neutral. It doesn't judge you. It doesn't rush you. It simply multiplies what you give it. If you give it fear, if you give it courage, it grows courage. If you give it effort, it builds a future quietly, patiently, without applause, waiting for the day you finally notice how far you've come. Every delay teaches patience. Every pause teaches purpose. But only if you stop fighting the silence and start listening to it. We're trained to panic when life slows down, to assume that waiting means failing, that nothing happening means nothing is working. But delays are not empty spaces. They're classrooms without noise. They strip you of distraction and force you to sit with yourself, your intentions, your habits, and your truth. When things don't move, it's not life rejecting you. It's life refining you. Patience is not passive. It's active strength. Anyone can move when the path is clear, but it takes maturity to stand still without quitting. Delays test whether you truly believe in what you're building, or you just like the idea of quick results. When progress is slow, your discipline speaks louder than your motivation, and that's where real growth happens, because motivation fades, but discipline learned in delay stays forever. Pauses arrive to realign your purpose. When life forces you to stop, it asks uncomfortable questions. Why are you rushing? What are you chasing? Who are you becoming in the process? If you never paused, you would keep running in directions that look impressive, but lead nowhere meaningful. A pause removes momentum so intention can take control. It teaches you that movement without meaning is just exhaustion. Here's the lesson most people miss. Impatience is often fear in disguise. Fear of being left behind. Fear of being forgotten. Fear that your time is running out. But purpose doesn't expire. What's meant for you doesn't require panic. Delays protect you from arriving unprepared, from holding success with untrained hands, from carrying blessings with a fragile mindset. What you're waiting for is also waiting for you to become stronger. In moments of pause, learn to build internally. Sharpen your skills, heal your mindset, strengthen your character. Because when life starts moving again, it moves fast, and only those who use the pause wisely can keep up without breaking. Silence is not stagnation. These moments are quietly teaching you how to trust timing, how to respect growth, and how to walk forward with patience instead of pressure, clarity instead of chaos, and purpose instead of panic. Healing, growth, and success each have their own timeline. And the moment you try to force them into one schedule, you begin to damage all three. We live in a world that celebrates speed but ignores sustainability. We clap for quick wins, overnight success, instant transformation, but we stay silent about the invisible years it takes to rebuild a broken heart, rewire a tired mind, or mature into someone who can actually handle success. Rushing healing doesn't make you strong. It makes you wounded in silence. Forcing growth doesn't make you disciplined. It makes you burnt out. Chasing success before you're ready doesn't make you powerful. It makes you fragile. Healing asks for honesty, not deadlines. Some wounds are not healed by time alone, but by awareness, acceptance, and courage. There are things you survive that your body remembers, even when your mind pretends to forget. Healing takes time because it requires you to unlearn survival habits that once protected you, but now limit you. And that process cannot be rushed without breaking you again. Be patient with your pain. It's not a weakness. It's evidence that you care deeply. Growth is quieter than people expect. It doesn't announce itself. It shows up in better choices, calmer reactions, and stronger boundaries. Growth needs repetition, and repetition needs time. You don't become consistent in a week. You don't develop confidence in a day. You become it by showing up again and again, especially on days when nothing feels rewarding. Growth respects effort, not urgency. Success has its own clock, and it starts ticking only when healing and growth are honored. Success without emotional maturity becomes pressure. Success without discipline becomes chaos. Success without purpose becomes emptiness. What looks like delay is often alignment. Life is arranging things in an order you cannot yet see, protecting you from achieving something too early and losing it just as fast. Stop comparing your timeline to people whose struggles you don't know. Their chapter 4 is not your chapter 1. Respect where you are. Their chapter 4 is not your chapter 1. For make you a factor is not your chapter 4. Give each phase the time it demands. Because when healing is complete, growth becomes natural, and success arrives not as a shock, but as something you're finally strong enough to carry. Discipline is the bridge between intention and meaningful use of time. And without it, even the strongest dreams collapse under the weight of distraction. Everyone has intentions. Everyone wants a better life, a stronger mind, a clearer purpose. But intention without discipline is just hope with no direction. Time listens to discipline, not desire. You can want change deeply, but if your daily actions don't reflect that want, time will simply pass without transformation. It's self-respect in action. It's choosing what matters most over what feels good in the moment. When you wake up tired but still show up, when you don't feel like learning but still open the book, when you resist excuses and act any way, that is discipline shaping your future quietly. These moments look small, but time multiplies them. One disciplined hour today becomes confidence tomorrow. One disciplined habit becomes identity over years. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes based on mood, comfort, and circumstances. Discipline stays when motivation disappears. Discipline is what keeps you moving on. Ordinary days, boring days, painful days, and those days make up most of life. If you only act when inspired, you surrender your time to emotions. Discipline takes time back from emotions and puts it in your control. Meaningful use of time is not about doing more. It's about doing what aligns with your values. Discipline teaches you to say no. No to distractions that look harmless but steal hours. No to people who drain your focus. No to habits that keep you busy but not better. Every no protects a yes that actually matters. Without discipline, time is scattered. With discipline, time becomes intentional. Discipline also builds trust with yourself. Every promise you keep strengthens self-belief. Every promise you break weakens it. Over time, this becomes the difference between confidence and self-doubt. When you trust yourself, decisions become clearer, progress becomes steadier, and time stops feeling like it's slipping away. I comes the differing, the time that comes between to the traffic. Waiting for the perfect moment. Use time with structure, not pressure, with commitment, not fear. When discipline leads, time stops being wasted and starts becoming proof of who you are becoming. Comparison steals time by making you doubt your own pace, and the moment you measure your life against someone else's highlight, you lose focus on your own path. Comparison is not harmless motivation. It's quiet sabotage. It makes you rush when you should be learning, quit when you should be patient, and feel late when you're actually right on time. While you're busy watching how fast others are moving, you stop noticing how far you've already come. Everyone's journey is built on different struggles, resources, wounds, and responsibilities. You don't see the sleepless nights, the failures, the fear behind their confidence, or the help they received. You only see results, and you compare them to your behind-the-scenes work. That's not a fair comparison, and deep down, you know it. Yet you still let it pressure you into timelines that don't belong to you. Comparison drains energy that could be used for growth. Instead of investing time in learning, healing, and improving, you waste it replaying someone else's life in your head. That mental noise creates urgency without clarity. You start doing things faster, not better. You chase what looks successful instead of what feels meaningful. And slowly, you disconnect from your own purpose. Here's the truth. Pace does not define worth. Pace does not equal success. Some people sprint and burn out. Others walk steadily and build something unbreakable. Your pace is shaped by lessons you need to learn, not races you need to win. When you respect your timing, progress becomes sustainable. When you fight it, growth becomes painful. Comparison also poisons gratitude. You forget what you've achieved because you're focused on what you haven't. Gratitude anchors you in the present. Comparison drags you into anxiety. You rush into commitments, relationships, and careers you're not ready for just to feel on time. Focus on progress, not position. Measure growth, not speed. Learn from others without competing with them. Let their success inspire discipline, not self-judgment. The moment you stop comparing, time feels generous again. You breathe better. You think clearer. You move forward with intention instead of pressure, trusting that your pace is not a problem. And without purpose, even the busiest days feel empty. You can move fast, stay occupied, and still feel lost. Because activity without direction is just noise. When you don't know why you're doing something, time feels heavy and exhausting. But the moment purpose enters your actions, even slow progress feels meaningful. Purpose doesn't rush you. It grounds you. It reminds you that life is not about how quickly you arrive, but about who you become while you're moving. Purpose turns ordinary moments into education. A single hour with clear intention can teach you more than weeks of distracted effort. When your why is strong, discipline becomes easier, patience becomes natural, and sacrifice starts to make sense. You stop asking, "How fast can I finish?" and start asking, "What am I learning?" That shift changes everything. Speed chases approval. Purpose builds legacy. Without purpose, time slips through your hands because nothing anchors it. You say yes to everything and commit to nothing deeply. You feel busy but unfulfilled. Purpose simplifies life. It helps you filter decisions, protect energy, and invest time where it actually matters. You stop measuring days by productivity alone and start measuring them by alignment. Did my actions reflect my values today? That question creates growth that lasts. Purpose also protects you from burnout. When challenges come, speed collapses under pressure, but purpose holds you steady. It gives meaning to effort and strength to endurance. People who last are not the fastest. They're the clearest. They know why they started, so they don't quit when things slow down. Purpose allows you to rest without guilt and work without resentment. Finding purpose doesn't mean having everything figured out. It means choosing direction over distraction. Your purpose can evolve, deepen, and refine over time. What matters is that your time is connected to something bigger than fear, comparison, or urgency. When you live with purpose, even waiting has value. Even silence has lessons. Even setbacks have direction. Slow steps with purpose outperform fast steps with confusion. When purpose leads, time stops feeling like pressure and starts feeling like partnership, guiding you patiently, teaching you quietly, and shaping a life that feels meaningful instead of rushed. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my dear.